Rocky the Big Crane. Edward is a really useful engine. He has worked on the Fat Controllers Railway for many years. One morning, he steamed into the docks to pick up some heavy pipes. Gordon and Thomas were already there, talking about a new crane called Rocky, who had just arrived on the island. "He looks so strong," Thomas puffed excitedly. "I'm sure he could lift even you up, Gordon." Gordon sniffed. "That crane might be big," he said, "but he has no engine. He can't move unless one of us pulls him." Edward looked at the crane and saw that Gordon was right. "Then I don't think he can be really useful," chuffed Edward slowly. "Quite right, Edward," huffed Gordon. "He will only get in the way." Just then, Percy arrived. He was very excited to see the new crane. "He will only get in the way," puffed Edward. "Newfangled nonsense," Gordon wheezed, and he chuffed off. "Oh, what's a newfangled nuisance, Edward?" peeped Percy. "Newfangled nonsense, Percy," puffed Edward, as grandly as he could. "It's something that is new and not really useful." Edward's trucks were right beside the new crane. "My name's Rocky," the crane smiled at Edward. "I'm Edward," puffed the blue engine. "Can I come with you?" asked Rocky. "I could help you with those heavy pipes." "I don't need your help," sniffed Edward. "Newfangled nonsense." And he puffed off quickly, before the pipes had been properly tied down. Edward was approaching a signal. He was going too fast, but he was so busy thinking about Rocky that he didn't notice. Suddenly the signal changed to red. Edward screeched to a stop. He jolted his truck so much that their sides collapsed. Steel pipes toppled all over the tracks. "Bust my buffers," puffed Edward. Edward looked at the heavy pipes and wondered if Rocky might help him lift them. Thomas had said the new crane was very strong. "Newfangled nonsense," huffed Edward. He asked his driver to telephone for Harvey instead. Soon the crane steamed up and started moving the pipes. But they were so heavy that he could only lift them one by one. "This is going to take me a very long time," poor Harvey gasped. Just then, Thomas and Emily arrived. They stopped and looked at the pipes. "We have to get through," tooted Thomas. "Why don't you go and get Rocky?" "No, no," whistled Edward. "Harvey is doing a fine job. We must be patient." "I don't like being patient," pouted Emily. "We have a very important job to do." Then they heard Gordon coming. Gordon was rushing along very quickly. He tried to stop when he saw the pipes, but it was too late. He hit them with a loud crunch and came off the track. It was a terrible mess. Gordon lay groaning in a pile of broken pipes. "I can't lift Gordon," sighed Harvey. "He's too heavy." "Edward," tooted Thomas, "we need Rocky." Gordon looked up. Newfangled nonsense, he sniffed. But Edward knew this was a disaster. Harvey couldn't possibly lift Gordon. There was only one thing to do. I'll go and get Rocky. Edward wished and he raced off. Edward steamed back to the docks. Rocky, we need your help, he whistled. It's an emergency. I'm ready and waiting, Edward, cried Rocky happily. So Edward buffered up to Rocky and together they left for the junction. Everyone cheered as Edward pulled Rocky up hills and down valleys. He felt very proud to be pulling the newest arrival on Sodor. Edward soon pulled up beside Gordon, bringing Rocky to help. Oh, I can fix this, promised Rocky, smiling. With his mighty crane arm, he lifted Gordon back onto the track. Gordon was very surprised. Thank you, Rocky, he huffed. Good work. Then Rocky lifted all the pipes off the rails. The job was done in no time. Gordon and Edward were very impressed. I was silly to call you newfangled nonsense, wished Edward to Rocky. You might be new, but you're also really useful. Welcome to our island. Everyone tooted and cheered for Rocky. The end. It was a tingly spring morning on the island of Sodor. Thomas was excited. The Fat Controller had sent him to pick up a new special from Jenny Packard. Miss Jenny ran the yard, where all the diggers, cranes and trucks on Sodor lived. At the yard, Jack was waiting for Thomas. I'm Jack the front loader, he whirred proudly. I can load and unload and carry lots of things. I can haul and shunt, boasted Thomas. Thomas and Jack set off for the quarry. Is this your first job at the quarry? Called Thomas. It's my first job on the island, Jack called back. I can't wait to get to work. At the quarry, the pack was working hard. Jack wanted to say hello to everyone, but they were all too busy to stop and talk. He scooted toward Oliver, the big excavator. I'm Jack. Can I help? He asked. Oh no, Oliver replied. Help Byron. Byron the bulldozer was shoving rock and rubble with his giant blade. I'm Jack. Can I help? Asked Jack. I don't need help, boomed Byron busily. Try Kelly the crane. I'm Jack, Jack whirred, rushing up to Kelly the crane. Watch out for my paint, snapped the car. You should look where you're going. Isabella, scolded Kelly. Sorry, said Isabella sourly. But it's too busy here for rushing and pushing. The quarry can be dangerous, Kelly told Jack. Safety first. Why don't you go and help Alfie? I'm sorry, said Jack. I'll try to be more careful. Jack found Alfie the excavator digging a big hole. I'm Jack, he said. Can I help you with your work? Alfie gave him a big smile. More help means more dirt. More dirt means more fun. I'm Alfie, he replied. Jack and Alfie were soon working hard and having lots of fun. But Jack was worried that the other machines didn't like him. He wished he could really be part of the pack. The next day, Thomas chuffed along the branch line, thinking about his new friend Jack. Thomas couldn't wait to get to the old quarry bridge. He knew the pack was working there. He could see how Jack was doing. I hope he's settling in, puffed Thomas. At the bridge, Jack and Alfie were loading the dump truck Monty. Dust and dirt were flying everywhere. Work had never been such fun. Jack felt very proud. He had tried hard and been very careful. He hoped the pack would see what a good worker he was, and Miss Jenny would let him stay. Later that day, Ned the steam shovel was moving under the bridge. I must be careful that my crane arm doesn't hit the bridge, he said to himself. But Ned hadn't lowered his tall crane arm far enough. It knocked loose the important keystones from the top of the bridge. The bridge started to crumble, just as Thomas puffed toward it, unaware of the danger ahead. Jack saw the danger. Thomas! He shouted. Jack jumped in and lifted his front loader up to the bridge. He pushed with all his might. Thomas saw the flagman and his driver applied the brakes, but they couldn't stop in time. Cinders and ashes, cried Thomas. The stones were very heavy, but Jack didn't let go. Thomas crossed the bridge safely and whooshed to a halt. Hold on, Jack, called Kelly, and he rushed to help. But Jack couldn't hold on any longer. The bridge came tumbling down. Are you all right, Jack? asked Kelly. I think so, he replied, but his arms were badly bent. Thomas took Jack back to the yard. Jack was afraid that Miss Jenny would be cross with him. He had jumped in without thinking about safety and damaged his arms. But Miss Jenny was pleased. Well done, Jack, she said. You go off to the fitters tomorrow. The pack can't have a front loader with bent arms. You mean I can stay? Whirred Jack. You're part of the crew, Miss Jenny grinned. Welcome to the pack, Jack, shouted Alfie. Kelly and Isabella cheered. Jack was so happy he couldn't think of anything to say. So he just revved his engine and bounced his bucket. Thomas was very pleased that his friend could stay. Welcome to the pack, Jack, he whistled. Peep, peep. The end.